Hey everyone, welcome to the Magical Healing the World podcast. My name is David, here with my lovely wife, Ms. Megan.
Hey everyone.
And we are so ecstatic to bring you an amazing guest. This is his second time being on our podcast. We just had to have him on again. What a powerful, beautiful story of persistence, resilience, discipline. I mean, the kind of discipline it takes to do what this man is doing is just absolutely amazing.
And he's strong.
Yes,
he's strong.
Very strong.
Like physically strong.
Allan Manglonia, Glonia, right?
Yes.
I did it right. Okay, cool. I didn't want to butcher your name. We're so excited to have you back on here, man.
We've called you, by the way, several different names. Started out in Mongolia,
so many of our, you were early on with us in so many of our community, we got such incredible feedback. Our community loved hearing your story, and our community has grown substantially since then.
So and it inspired us. Like, this is the closest we've been to, like 100%, and that's my goal for this next year is 100%.
So for the newer people on this podcast, go back and listen to his first one. Thank you for taking some time with us today, Allan.
Thank you so much for having me. This podcast was my first ever podcast, and I wanted to close the year with you guys once again.
And because you've been on several since then, haven't you?
Yes. Like after you guys, it was just like podcast after podcast. And at first, like my first 5 podcasts, I'll be counting like, oh yeah, podcast number 5. But now it's like, I forget what number. I'm on.
Because you're so inspiring, and what you're doing is proof. It's just proof that everything that we've been told is a lie, as far as healing and foods, and it's crazy. And food is, like David said, I agree that it's like the number one addiction out of any addiction, because we've been addicted since we've been born. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I strongly believe it's the biggest addiction out there, and you've conquered it. Well, you've conquered it to the best of anyone that I've ever experienced in my entire life.
We do good, and then we're like, we'll have one cheat meal a month, and that's never a good idea because of the food's addicting, and just God. So you are inspiring us to finally be like, you know what? We're going to quit doing this 80%. We're going 100%. We want to live long lives, and
how many days are you on?
Today is day 660.
Wow. Now explain to everyone how you started out with raw, but you did, vegetables, right? And
for my first 100 days, around my first 100 days, I would just straight eat raw fruits. And around day 90 is when the mucoid plaque, I mentioned this in the last came out. And that's when it was like, okay, oh shit, this is it. This is the diet. This is
got chilled.
And then it's mentioned in Genesis. It's it's even in the Bhagavad Gita. It mentions like, hey, do not eat too much. Do not eat cooked foods or too much salty foods. And I'll get into that's I was mentioning it for a couple of days now. Like, hey, I'm trying to quit. I'm trying to quit salt, and one of the reasons why is because of what it was said in Bhagavad Gita chapter 17. Too much salty foods put you in a mode of passion and towards disease. So like, okay, right. So for 660 days, I've been eating raw. The first 100 days, I've been eating fruits, and then I started adding in different raw vegetables, raw mushrooms, raw seeds, raw seaweeds. And then May of this year, May 2021, I went back strictly back to just fruits and dry fasting. So I have not drank any water since May.
Because the water and fruit is the truest alkaline water that you can get. And you know what? Years ago, I took one magic mushroom, and only one. And it was like I had taken a decent amount of mushrooms, but I got the download from that I was going to heal myself with raw foods. I didn't realize it was going to be high fruit, I've evolved to learn, but 100% the mushroom spirit told me this answer a long time ago. And you're so right I believe it about the salt, because if I have let's say, for example, nutritional yeast, even if it's the unfortified kind, I mean, it not as bad, but it will literally change my personality. It's like I'm running a completely different program that's lower frequency. It's crazy. It's wild.
in one of the episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast, there was Rashad Evans, a former light heavyweight UFC champion. He was talking about he had a big dose of mushrooms, and then the mushrooms told him to go vegan. So I was like,
I believe it. I believe it. It's amazing.
I love that. Rashad Evans is a beast.
He is. I think he's coming back for his next fight. So I think maybe going vegan kind of helped heal his body, and he's like, oh, I'm ready for I'm coming back out of retirement for the next fight.
That's amazing. So what do you tell someone whenever they're like, hey, they're believing the program that sugar's bad for me and sugar's gonna make me fat and I can't get strong, without eating dairy or sugar? Like, I mean, not, you know what I'm saying?
Protein.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. How do you go about those conversations?
Like, I want to know how you respond to those people.
It's easier for me to tell them about sugar because I was once really obese and I had hypoglycemia.
I had that too.
I couldn't control my sugar, my blood sugar when I was young, and then I took it as hunger. I was like, oh, this is hunger. So I just kept eating and I kept getting deeper and deeper and closer to diabetes, I'm assuming. I was able to handle this during my, I want to say, early 30s with apple cider vinegar, the organic Bragg's apple cider vinegar, and that helped me help my maintaining of blood sugar. And I learned this from while I was doing deep dives into fasting. But as I was doing deep dives into fasting, that's when I got into veganism. And then I kind of fell off the wagon for a while in 2019, and then in 2020 I had an incident. I almost got lost at sea, and then from there, like, hey, I better do something. I was given another chance. I almost got lost at sea. I thought I was gonna die, and I kind of accepted it at that time. But
you were really lost at sea.
I found a boat. I found a small boat near a nearby beach in my home back in the Northern Mariana Islands.
Yeah.
And this is how reckless I was. I didn't even check to see if there's holes in the boat or if the boat is okay.
Yeah.
And that day, my friend was inviting me to another beach to have a barbecue.
So you took the boat.
I broke a pallet. I made a makeshift paddle with a pallet, and then I took it out. And at first, it was going towards the beach that I was supposed to go to. And then the wind picked up, the waves picked up, and no matter how hard I paddle, I couldn't go back towards the island. And then I was going further and further from
terrifying.
Right. And usually, I think I would panic and jump off the boat and try to swim back, but maybe I would have not made it.
Yeah.
If I really did. I was surprisingly at that time, I was kind of satisfied for at what I've done with my life, and so I was already accepting death. My father died at sea when I was 10 years old, and it kind of like I kind of had like a sense of humor about it, like, oh wow, this is just like the Truman Show with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it
good
is.
movie, by the way.
Yeah, it is a good movie.
Wow.
And I kind of looked down. I stopped paddling because it's just a waste of energy. In case I really need it, I'll save that. I looked down and I realized there's holes in the boat, and then the water is coming up, and that's when it's like, oh, this is how I'm gonna go today. And then it was like the legend of Allan, what he did with his life. I was thinking of all that.
How are you here today?
What's that?
Continue.
Keep going. How are you even here today?
I looked up and there just happened to be a speedboat going by, and I took my makeshift paddle and I started waving. It was going by and I thought, oh, it's not going to see me, but then it saw me, thank goodness. And then it turned back, took me to the beach where it's supposed to be. What a great entrance to the barbecue, right? It's like, oh shit. Coming in with a broken ass boat. And then a week later, after that incident, I woke up one morning, I decided to go fruitarian, and then 660 days later, and still
Wow.
I'm still on that journey.
660.
We're doing it.
I want that mucoid plaque on.
Me too.
That's kind of my motivational force, is that mucoid plaque.
It's like the serpent, it's the disease.
Yes. Just like John Rose says, yeah, it's like a serpent. And I think in the Bible, it was talking about this really one sick person. Jesus took out this long serpent-like worm or parasite.
Yeah.
When the mucoid plaque came out, I still remember that day. I think the way you poop matters too. Instead of using a toilet, make sure you get into a good squat position, and so I guess it helps take out. You get into a position where your intestines or your colon line up in a way that it helps the poop come out, right? I think that's how our ancestors did it.
Yeah.
Position. And when it came out, I felt so light, and I think we're supposed to not build a lot of muscle and be heavier. We're supposed to feel lighter so that we can ascend, right? But anyway, I felt so light, and then like around 10 days later, full six-pack abs.
Okay, I'm
so
on that
you there is no doubt when it passes.
Yeah, or I didn't know at that time. It was just like, oh man, I feel so light today.
Yeah,
I feel so great. I feel so relief, like a big part of, like a big like there was a stomach, and now it's missing, and it's like that emptiness, like, hey, there's something missing. That's how you feel. And the reason why I was squatting is because I was pooping into a bucket, and I was using my poop as fertilizer for my cannabis plants. And then I let it dry first, and when I came back, it was kind of dark when I was looking at it, but it was early in the morning. But when I came back, like after 2 weeks, I noticed, my normal poop turned really light brown, but then the mucoid plaque stayed really dark, and it was like tar. And so I picked it up. It was pretty heavy.
Like dark black energy and physical matter.
I brought some to Japan.
What?
You brought some to Japan.
Yeah, I didn't bring all of it, because imagine if I get caught in the airport, they're like, what is this? Imagine how awkward that would be.
This is yours? This is yours?
Yes, this is mine. And
oh my gosh, it's hard like rock.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's like rocks in there. It's like rocks. The color has gotten light because I left.
Wow.
So imagine there's like rocks in your mucoid plaque after eating so much starch and meat. And then if you compare it to like when you cook foods in the on your oven or on and then you have to scrub that dark thing after so much buildup. Imagine that in your intestines and colon, and like how are you scraping that out?
So
supposedly folks get colon hydrotherapy, and then like over 10 pounds of it comes out.
We interviewed a girl, dude. You probably know Aline Habib. You've probably seen her. I know you've seen her all over Facebook. She's like the queen raw person. But anyway, she said she lost 20 pounds of mucoid plaque when she passed it. And I was like, oh, wow.
I believe it. And even
it cured her addiction.
Even if I was vegan for months and I was fasting, I still had mucoid plaque, and it came out. And then that's when it's like, oh, I underestimated,
Fruit. Do we even need veggies?
I don't think we need veggies.
Yeah. At first I thought they were for rebuilding, and now I'm like, I think everything we need is in fruit.
You gotta imagine plants don't want to be eaten. That's why they have defense mechanisms. Some have thorns, some develop poisons, there's plants back where I'm from where you touch it and the leaves close up, right?
Okay.
And people are like, plants can't feel. Like, well, look at, why do they move? Why do Venus flytraps just close up when they have food in there? They can feel.
You can ask them questions, and they will lean forward for yes, lean backward for no. Like, I mean, yeah.
Whoa, yeah.
Practice it. and try to connect with them and practice it.
Yeah, our mentor, one of our spiritual mentors, has kind of gotten a way down where he lives in Mount Shasta, very in tune, and he has like communication with a lot of the plants that he's around.
Yeah, that's what he does. Yeah, it's amazing.
All right, I'm so in, man. It's crazy. This is all happening for a reason. We've been on such a. Go ahead.
I've been watching you guys' journey and your ceremonies. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
No,
and now
please go ahead.
We're adding this into our formula, our healing formula at retreats is like the raw foods, the fruits and stuff, you know. So you might want to mention something that I do after he mentions what he says. because I don't want to forget to tell you this. I want you to touch on herbs, because that's an area that honestly, we'll be honest, we're not as educated in. We know that herbs are a part of it to assist with detoxing and everything and cleansing, but we don't really know which herbs. And
this is just great timing, because we've been we got so deeply clean from our Amazon jungle experience, going deep with ayahuasca, and then we came back, and you just slip up once and it's just a cycle, and we're like, no, we know we want to get back into it, and this is the motivation.
It felt great.
This all happens divinely. Your conversation is such a catalyst for us being like, no, I want this mucoid plat gone. We're going 90 days at least or longer for this fruit. So yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. And I want to know about herbs, and I want to know, is it true that you can't mix certain fruits together in juices? Because that is heartbreaking for me. If I cannot mix my orange, apple, pineapple, and carrot together, I'm going to be very sad. And you have to explain why. Because I don't get it.
So imagine our ancestors back in nature, they go and find a mango tree full of ripe mangoes. As he was eating one mango, he's like, you know what would go good with this? Apples. And then he's gonna go look. No, he's stuck there and probably ate as much until satisfied, and probably carried some home. So monofruit eating is probably one of the most natural way, and it helps with digestion. So for example, like if we eat a pizza, this is what I understand. We need certain enzymes to break down the pepperoni. We need certain enzymes to break down the bread. We need certain enzymes to break down the cheese. And so our digestive system, the engine turns on, and then we have to do all these work, as opposed to monofruit. It's like, oh, it's just an apple. We have just certain enzymes to break down this apple. That's all we could focus just on that. Quick digestion. And so we don't realize how much energy we use when we digest food. And by the time after lunch, we go back to work and we're sleepy as fuck, because we had a big ass breakfast, pancakes and cereal and milk. And then at lunch, we go out to TGIF Fridays or whatever, eat potato wedges and potato wedges and and a burger. We come, really sleepy, because our body is using so much energy trying to break down this and try to break down.
Wow, I never thought of that.
Right?
Wow.
And for fruits, if you really want to speed up your detox and digestion, you do monofruiting, or how I do it is I'll send you guys a graph or a chart of how to match up fruits. So pretty much what it is you don't mix acidic fruits with sweet fruits. So example, you don't mix lemons with bananas. And supposedly melons are a different category. You eat them by themselves, the melons. So yeah, that's heartbreaking, because I want to mix melons with, but I think ultimately, do it. Do it. It's just, supposedly it slows down your digestion, because you got this acidic fruit that it's trying to process, and then you got this non-acidic fruit you're trying to process. And so it slows down your detox, supposedly. But and also, before before the mucoid plat came out, I was doing monofruiting of grapefruits and monofruiting of melons, a lot of them. So just grapefruits and melons. Melons I was growing in my garden. And here's another thing about connection with plants. Supposedly, when we garden barefoot, whatever, how we detox stuff out of our feet, right? When we're teenagers, our feet start to stink because all that crap that we've been exposed to. So whatever it's detoxing, it goes in the dirt, and then eventually your plants will pick up what you're detoxing, and then accustom its fruit for whatever you're missing or whatever you need.
Wow.
especially if you have that connection, right? We breathe oxygen, we give it carbon dioxide. It takes carbon dioxide, like, thank you, sir, and gives you oxygen.
Wow.
It makes flowers, it makes nectars for the bees and the bugs and the birds. And then in return, the bees and the bugs and birds, they help pollinate. So they have that exchange, right? And then it makes fruits, and it shows us the color, right? It shows us, here, human, it's right, even smells right. And we have hands to pick it, or climb and to pick it, and we have eyes to see the color, and then we have the nose to smell the fruit. We pick it, and yeah, in exchange, it gives us this fruit energy. In exchange, we help disperse its seeds. So now I try to keep every seed of all the fruits that I eat, and I plant them. So when I eat kiwis and tomatoes, I poop in a little bucket, and then I mix it with dirt, and then the tomatoes are
wow, that's
makes
awesome.
sense. We used to have a pet
and
pig.
supposedly
You can do that in our backyard.
We used to have a pet pig, and same thing. Anywhere she pooped, like watermelon would start growing, or tomatoes would start growing.
Yep.
And then so supposedly it knows its DNA, and it will know your DNA, and then accustom its fruit to support you, because now it wants you to live longer and help it disperse its seed, right? So now it's like, hey, whatever this thing ate me, I know its DNA, this is what it needs, or this is what it will help.
Wow.
Yeah.
So imagine that connection with nature, and a lot of us, we forget about that, right? Or we never even learn about this in school, right? Because mainstream science probably won't be able to explain all this.
I can even learn from most nutritionists. I won't say all, but most, like, they all have it wrong, unfortunately.
Wow.
I paid a nutritionist or whatever they were.
Gosh.
So much money, like $700, $900 a session. And she was literally telling me to stay away from fruits.
Telling her to go to eat meats and
like all this stuff, like craziness.
It's probably the schools that she went to, probably sponsored by Big Pharma, Pfizer.
100% yes.
Of course.
Correct.
I personally love doing mono grape. I love doing grapes, just like black grapes, just by themselves. I love doing that for like several days in a row. But juicing is what we normally do. We like live off of juices
Yes.
a lot. But
I have a juicing story. So I did a 7-day water fast, and then I continue with juicing.
Yeah.
So it's like a solid food vacation, just like
Yeah.
if people aren't familiar, John Rose, he's a detox specialist. Please, he has several videos out. He's a really buff, or really healthy 66-year-old. I'm not sure. He's shirt off and he's ripped, you know what I mean? But anyway, so I did a 7-day water fast, and I was continuing it with fruit juice, mainly citrus, because citrus, it's easy to pick the seeds, and you could just juice it in your mouth and just spit out the pulp. And then I think around day, I forget, day 11 or something like that, day 8, I forget, but I had sleep paralysis, and there was a entity on top of me holding me down. And this is the second time I've had this happen to me in my lifetime, and both times I prayed to Jesus. So the second time this happened, I was trying to put my hands, it was like for instinct, right? Trying to put my hands together to pray, but I couldn't. It was holding me down. And in the end, I yelled for my brother to move this thing off of me so we could beat it down. But I prayed to the next morning, my arms hurt, and I think that's from trying. I thought at first that's from trying to fight the force and try to put my hand together and to pray. But a friend of mine said, "Hey, I had the same thing happen, and it happened to be where the vaccine, the arm that the vaccine shot in. So maybe I was having my final detox, and this entity was coming out of me and trying to come back.
High vibrational for that into surviving vessel."
Yeah. The first time this happened to me was when I was camping outdoors. So it was, maybe I was, on that, maybe the entity knew I was on a journey. So
I
it
mean,
was
we have seen, this is so real. We've seen the entity be removed in people that have had the vaccine in several of our ceremonies, and it is dark. It is scary.
When someone goes in with that intention of getting the vaccine removed, it gets removed, but it's very intense. We have seen this vaccine removed in ayahuasca ceremonies multiple times, and it's very intense.
Yeah, but I also believe when you're so high vibrational eating the fruits, it cannot survive. You know, eventually that's the other way of, you know, it's just the ayahuasca helps it go faster, you know.
Yeah.
You get into that frequency or that vibration to the point where I have a cannabis addiction, but it's gone. And then the craving for solid fruits was gone too. I was just like, I was just gonna be a liquidarian. But then it happens a lot. It happens a lot to us, right? It's like we tend to get or like when we get gifted a fruit, or when we give into temptation and I eat a fruit and we end up going backwards, back to solid fruits. And right now it's been on and off with salt and avocados for me. I think last podcast I mentioned I have this avocado addiction.
I love avocado and salt.
Yes. And it's what helped me get a lot of my weight back. So if a lot of fruitarians out there or raw vegans out there who are still worried about aesthetics and want to gain back their weight, avocados can really help. And I know a lot of people can't eat like 3 or 4 avocados right off the back like I can. I can eat. At one point, I was eating like 15 avocados, and the easiest way was to make them into guacamole. And then this is where I got addicted to a lot of vegetables too, raw. So I had to get off of that. I was putting in like green onions. I was experimenting with all kinds of herbs and vegetables and seaweeds, putting into the guacamole, seeing what make the ultimate guacamole. I was putting like raw wasabi in there.
Wow.
It was great. It tasted awesome, and I got addicted. It was to the point where I'm in the middle of work. I would skip it for an hour or two, go home, make guacamole, chill, watch some YouTube, and then that's how addicted I got. So now I significantly lowered my guacamole amount to like 5, which still is a lot, right? And it's been a battle. But
even you have had pizza cravings. I remember seeing a post about that, but you did not cave in.
That's my weakness, by the way. That's why I'm interested in that, because that's my weakness.
I'm thinking, is this why a lot of children go missing in pizza parlors? Because we love pizza since, right, as grew up in the 80s. I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles eating pizza. Like, I want pizza too, Ninja Turtle.
Right.
These reptilians. I want pizza too, reptilians.
Well, you know the whole pizza.
So whenever I get hit with these cravings and temptation, usually when I'm emotional, right? When I get emotional, watching my brothers and my sisters out there giving into mainstream media or mainstream science and what's going on in the world right now. Yeah, sometimes I'm a human. I try to detach myself.
It's tough when it's people you love.
Right. Especially people close to me. I guess I get like support, and people come to me from around the world asking me for help, and I'm able to connect with them, but it's very hard for me to connect with the people around me and people close to me. That really hurts, but I'm trying my best to understand that everybody's journey is perfectly scripted.
We get
that's the lesson. That's the deep lesson right there. That's tough, but that's the deep lesson.
And I look at this as a big test, a big lesson, and also look at it like it's the Matrix or the simulation or a very advanced Truman Show where like this is some kind of simulation, and and so fuck it, I'm gonna live it like I'm the main character, and you guys, live it like the main character.
That's right. That's right.
Too of this movie, you know.
That's right.
If you give it, I'm thinking like if we give this life too much drama, it's like TV, whatever's watching us, it's like, yo, this is great. I want next season. So when we die, we come back for next season. But if we're boring, like we just under a tree just praying the whole time, like fuck it, give this motherfucker Nirvana and move on to the next one.
That's a great explanation. I love that. Wow, that's a very deep theoretical thought process. That's really unique. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Don't forget about the herbs, though. I need to know, what are the herbs that really helped you?
Right.
And why?
We know nothing about that.
Nothing.
So to be honest, I don't think any of these herbs really help besides just in my head, and it's like placebo. But if you were to choose herbs, I would choose the herbs like in Japan there's shiso leaves, which gives a very fragrant smell and very good taste to the guacamole too. But plants don't. I want to go back to plants don't want to get eaten. So
I was just thinking that.
even their leaves, right? They use it for photosynthesis, and you cut it, and then it's less food for them. But when you do cut it, thank it, right?
Yeah,
you ever see the experiment with water, with the two waters, where one really talks shit to this water, and the water turns bad when you put the microscope ice, and then you talk a lot of love into this water. So plants, right? It's like over 50% water, and so is our body. Imagine talking shit to somebody, and people are like, "Yo, sticking stones can't break, break my bones, but words or whatever, right?" But if we're 70% water, and if our words are like spells, right? We learn how to spell things, right? If words are like magic, has power, has energy, right? You listen to music, depending on what lyrics
exactly.
So even words can fuck people up or make people day. And it can affect the water. 70 humans, supposedly, according to science, we're 70% water. It will affect us. So imagine a parent telling their child, you'll never be able to do that. And then the child probably, since it's coming from, the parent, when you're a child, right? Your parent is like your CNN. You get a lot of your influence and your news and your programming from your parents.
Yep.
And then when parents say that to you, it fucks with their water, it fucks with their, and then now they have to spend their adult times trying to heal that. And so a lot of them didn't know where it came from, right? From these traumas, not just from parents, traumas throughout all that. And then,
fruits are all we need then. Fruits are all we need then.
Yeah. Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, God made man, and when he made man, he also made the fruit of man. And he was like, "Hey, look, man, here's some fruit. Inside the fruit, there's seeds. The seeds will make more trees, and then make more fruits that have more seeds. And this will be your food." So I stay away from fruits without seeds,
right?
Like bananas,
usually, right?
But when I get gifted fruits, like tangerines, like a lot of the tangerines in Japan,
I love tangerine.
I thank it. Yeah, make sure you thank the fruit, right? Change its water. Love it, bless it, and then enjoy it. I hear, or from when I was looking into Buddhism, the Buddhist monks, they eat meat, but they don't go out to the stores and buy meat. They when people gift them food, and when there is meat, and they thank it, they bless it, they sacrifice, eat
it's
it.
like if the universe is bringing you something in a flow state, like, okay, I'm going to accept this, but make the best of it in regards to blessing it.
That just happened to me because we haven't eaten meat in a long time. When we were in Colombia, because we were going to the jungle ayahuasca medicine, which is a whole different ball game. If you haven't listened to our last jungle episode, you should. It's crazy. But and out of all the meat, like, oh god, of all, I don't know, it was really hard for me. He brought out a big plate of fish, and I mean, just the smell of fish grosses me out. It just does, which you're probably used to it, like sushi and stuff where you live, but I cannot stomach it, and I had to eat it because he was like, "You have to have this for strength." It was like, I had no idea why I was in for that medicine.
It was like this 80-year-old master shaman that was like, "You're going to be sitting in ceremony in the jungle. I highly recommend you have, almost like you need to eat this.
Especially because like I'm this small person.
We for one thing, from a respect issue, we didn't want to say no, but also the jungle medicine is so strong. We just wanted to listen to whatever he suggested.
Yes. So we just went through that situation.
That was interesting.
It was really weird.
But man, this has so motivated us to get back on it, man. This is what we needed. I want that freaking mucoid plaque out. And you said right around 90 days?
Around 90 days, yes.
Okay.
But at that time, I was monofruiting a lot of, as I mentioned, grapefruits, melons, and also, papayas. Where I was growing up, or the island where I'm from, there's papayas growing everywhere, wild. So, and people don't really eat the ripe ones. They get the unripe ones and put it into salads or make pickles out of it. But yeah, I was able to pick a lot of ripe papayas out in the wild, and it's not, how do I say, commercially grown. So, there's not probably a lot of garbage
You do pineapple?
on it. What's that?
You do pineapple?
I did pineapple at first, but now it's like, if I were to eat a pineapple, please save the top and plant it, because now you're killing life. I mean, it's up to anybody's decision. But now when I eat pineapple, I take the top, I plant it, because that's actually life. And then the pineapple itself. So I'm imagining the seeds of the pineapples on the outer layer of the fruit, right? And then an animal will bite it, probably bite it, take one bite and move on, because it's all prickly and stuff. Yeah. And then the pineapple will fall, and then the leaves on top of the pineapple, we use that rest of the fruit as energy, as water, to grow root and grow another pineapple tree. And so, but there are seeds in the pineapple. So try to save the seeds. But then the top, the leaf, you could put it into some dirt and water it, and it'll grow roots.
Yeah.
It'll grow roots.
Pineapple's my favorite. That's why I asked.
Oh yeah, especially the juice.
Oh my
so
God.
Juicy, and oh my. Yes, yeah. But imagine if we eat too much. Actually, if folks, when buying pineapples at supermarkets, a lot of times when it's imported, it's been picked while it's not fully ripe, and it's supposedly pineapples don't get ripe after it's been picked. It starts to rot and go towards making roots. So when you are to buy a pineapple, make sure it's really, really orange yellow, and no green. Or just put that pineapple into some dirt and grow your own pineapple. Give it your own urine, mix it with water. Some urine will have salt, and too much salt is not good for the plant. Mix it with water. There's DNA in your urine. The pineapple read your DNA supposedly and grow pineapples.
Beautiful.
For you.
This is all perfect too, as our we know our path is eventually leading us towards some kind of international thing we want to build out. So this is exactly what we need to know, because that's what we're going to be doing when we build all this stuff out. We want to have that. We want to have those fruit trees, and we want to do it the right way. This has been absolutely awesome, Allan.
Do you coach people? Like,
you should.
I know.
Lately, people would ask to video call or send me messages, and I usually reply as fast as I can. And I can schedule video calls with folks. I do it all for free. I forget.
No energy exchange.
Energy exchange. I just through this. I believe if I do good, eventually good will manifest for me, and it has been. I've gotten letters from Europe. I've gotten gifts from people I've never met before. A buddy of mine that I've met online from a raw website sent me a juicer. Juicer. He said all fruit. He has eating all fruits, and he had a condition. He had a skin condition on his head, and he was losing his hair. And then he went all raw fruits, and his hair grew back. So I was like, oh snap!
Wow.
And he was very nice. He sent me a juicer, and yeah, stuff like that. Like, I do it for free. And I think, I believe it was Mark chapter 10, verse 45, and then book of Matthew is talking about, man is not here just to serve himself, but to serve others as well. Yeah. Not in the form of slavery, you know what I mean? Like me just eating fruits, I lessen my trash amount, I'm not, if I eat a Twix, the plastic, right, I don't know where the plastic will go ultimately. It would probably just get burnt at the refinery or the trash place. But if we eat fruits, right, and then I'm being the light for folks, I'm being a service to folks, and not just to folks, but to the environment, because I save its seeds and I plant it. So these trees will make oxygen for us, and also give us fruit if it survives to grow mature enough to give us fruit, right? And not just fruit for me, but fruit for whoever wants to eat it. So I try to be, try my best to be of service and not take any money. But if people want to donate money, please. I will not.
You are in the receiving mode.
That is awesome, man. Allan, this has been absolutely amazing. We would love to, we're going to link your contact and info and everything under our.
And wait, but if people do want to donate money to you, how do they do that?
Yeah, how would they reach you? What's the best way to reach you?
Maybe contact me through Facebook or Instagram. I'm also on YouTube, Allan Manglonia. If you just type that in, I think you'll find my channel. I haven't known that because for like 8 years now, I have not dealt with banks. I closed down my bank account, and I don't use this wireless or what was it Wi-Fi money?
Like Venmo and stuff like that.
Yes, I don't use. I've been using cash for about 8 years now, and I kind of have faith in the Creator when I shut down the banks, and people are, people will be like, that's inconvenient. How are you gonna live? But yeah, I've just been living off of cash, and it's just put my faith. I put faith in that on my script. But if this is my movie, then yeah, the script is already written by the Creator, and it's been perfectly written. So I put faith. And so, yeah, I don't know how I would receive money. I think it might be like Western Union or through mail or something like that.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Yes.
We'll make a way.
Yep.
Well, awesome, Allan. I know we last time we were on, we asked you the question, but we're going to ask again, as you know, right before we, if you could leave the world with one message, what would that be?
Trust and enjoy your journey.
I love that. I love that. Trust and enjoy your journey. Enjoy. That's so important. We get so caught up in taking things so seriously, and just, you got to laugh and just smile and not take it so seriously and have fun. I love that. Trust and enjoy. Thank you so much for coming on, Allan. You've been an inspiration to us consistently.
So glad we did this.
And now this is a new catalyst for us to kick off 2022, right?
We'll do a part 3 when we've made it even further on our journey. And then we'll
so
see
this
where
March,
we're all at.
This March will be my 2-year anniversary. So
oh let's do it then.
Absolutely
yes.
Incredible.
Thank you for your time, Allan. We love you so much, brother.
Yes. Happy
Well,
healing.
Happy healing.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.